Yo! 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 Welcome to Unsportsmanlike Conduct in a bonus episode with yours truly, Mr. Commissioner. Guys, doing something different tonight. We've been using the Riverside FM platform. We've had issues with it. Fed up with it. I'm done with it. Last night we actually recorded a really good episode. We had Drew on, and it was a banger of an episode. If you guys have been in Drew, it was a good time, and it was pretty unfortunate that we had issues with the upload, so I could not post that episode. But I could not leave you guys hanging this week. I wanted to get something out there, so doing something a little bit different. Using my own tool that I've had on my computer, using OBS I've configured. It's going to allow some more flexibility than what Riverside FM can do, and you guys will see that as things are going. You may already notice I got some music back. I'm going to be able to share my screen here so I can actually post matchups. Some of the things I have to figure out yet is exactly how to bring other people into the podcast episodes, but I'll figure that out in due time. So please, when this is all over, one, I hope you enjoy the episode. Two, provide some feedback. Let me know what you guys like, what you don't like. And bear with me because this is a little different, me just doing an episode by myself. It has a different vibe, just to be honest. But I'm sure I'll be okay. Probably a quicker episode. That's okay too. Me talking for an hour, I guess really by myself would be, I don't want to call it weird, but okay, we'll just call it weird. It's whatever. But anyways, we are 13 weeks in. Only one more week until playoffs. We had a lot happen this past week. Some big key matchups. Drew lost his chances of getting into the playoffs because of how a few particular things played out. We had Cameron and Mike, who's already won in this league, lock up a first round bye. That's big. We are officially on league reset watch. That's what I'm going to call it. And then Andrew, he's back in the top six. He's in sixth place. Big matchup this week between Andrew and Clark to get that last playoff seed. And the winner of that will get either fifth seed or sixth. Little Josh, he's currently in fifth place. If he wins, he stays in fifth. If he loses, he can get sixth, but he's in the playoffs regardless. And then poor Drew, there's not much more that he can do other than just sit and watch. The bottom four teams, what's funny this week, it's kind of like a preseason for the playoffs because the bottom four teams are playing each other again next week. It might shake up just a little bit, but we'll see. I'll get into that here in a bit. Usually I do some fantasy power rankings and whatnot, but since it's just me tonight, I'm not going to do that. Next week, whenever I have been back on, possibly a guest or two, we'll do some more fantasy power rankings. But I want to get right into the matchups. All right. As you can tell, I'm able to share my screen. So, I'm going to go quick on some of the matchups that really mean nothing, starting with me and Steve. Doesn't matter who's going to win or lose this week. There's a good chance we'll play each other again next week. But what I will say is, even before Zeke got me the 23.5 points, Steve, I was going to kick your butt this week. I don't care. You want to know why? It's because this week means nothing. I tend to win weeks when it does not matter. I won last week against AJ, helping Cameron seal that last bye for the playoffs. It's frustrating. So, Steve, you're going to lose this week. The only thing I could possibly argue is that I had a better seasonal record and points than you did when it was all said and done. But what really matters is that I will beat you again next week. Book it. Steve, I will say, I'm not going to get into it, but your team has turned around quite a bit. Your team just got going a little too late. I think we all know that. It'll be fun playing you this week and likely next week. Next, I'm actually going to go real quick to Taylor against Ryan and Mark. This is another game. Once again, it does not matter. The bottom four are the bottom four. I do think Ryan and Mark are going to win this week. Yeah, Taylor, he does have Justin Jefferson back. He is cleared to play. He's not on IR anymore. He's not even on the injury report. So he's going to play, but across the board matchups. Sorry, Taylor, I think you're going to get last this year. Probably go more into that next week on the podcast. Um, I'm going to go ahead and break down Drew and AJ's game. Now, there is some significance to this. Not necessarily for Drew, but for AJ. So, if I was fighting for either third or fourth, I mean, you'd probably want to play either Clark or Andrew, the winner of that game. But you don't know if they're going to get either fifth or sixth place going into the playoffs. Those two would be the weaker of the teams in the playoffs, in my opinion. I think the points that they've put up this year is evidence alone for that. Andrew's team has more potential to have big weeks. We've seen that. The past 2 weeks, I actually think he scored north of 130. So his team is capable, but it's not. It's far from consistent of doing that. He's more likely to put up right around 100 or less. Clark, he's been one of those teams this year that's always just kind of got by, but maybe he'll get by this week. Clark, I hope you get by this week. But this game, to break it down, AJ, I think you got the matchups across the board. I think the only way Drew's going to win this week is if Purdy and Kittle connect for like 2 or 3 touchdowns apiece, and both Purdy and Kittle get bonus. I think without that, AJ, I think you got the matchups across the board. You got Justin Fields that I think is going to have a big game against Detroit. CeeDee Lamb is going to have a heyday against Philly. Get your act together, Philly. Amon St. Brown, you'll get what you get with him. I think the Rams running back Williams is going to do great. Barkley, you'll get what you get. Dallas Goedert is back this week officially. I see the Eagles really going to be throwing a lot to him this week. I just, across the board, I think AJ has the matchups. Sure, Drew can win, but AJ has to have a really bad week. I guess really, if there's any consolation to this, AJ, it might not matter whether you win or lose. Right now, you're just hoping to play either Andrew or Clark. And you might need to lose to get that matchup, or you might need to win. So play it out and see what happens. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna transition to, let's do Mike and Ben. This is another one. Ben is playing for really either third or fourth. If he wins, he has a chance to get third. It really depends on what happens with AJ. If he loses, he'll keep fourth. But it doesn't matter. I need to go into the details again as to who's going to get fifth or sixth. Breaking down this matchup, I do think Mike's going to win for all the same reasons why his team's been doing great this year. I do think Hill and Brown together will score north of 50 points. I love those matchups this week. And then just across the board, this is going to be a close game. I bet both teams do get north of 110 points this week. But I do think Mike's going to hold off. Mike, if there's a week for you to lose, it's this week and next week. Not that you play next week, but these are the 2 weeks that we've been calling all year for you to finally slack off and have some bad weeks. This is the time to do it, so you're ready for the final 2 weeks. I hope you don't. I hope you ribcage it the rest of the way, but time will tell. But I have Mike winning this game in a close game, and it's going to be because of Hill and Brown. Next, I'm going to transition to Cameron and Little Josh. Once again, another game not of much significance. Josh is playing for either fifth place or sixth place. He's in the playoffs regardless. Cameron, first round bye. Doesn't matter. And he's not going to gain Mike for the first or second overall. I don't think that's going to happen. I do. What did I have the other week? No, last night, and I think I'm going to stick to this, I had Little Josh winning this matchup. I know right now the live projection is he's less than that. He's projected to lose to Cameron, and Cameron still doesn't have a kicker. There's reason to believe Cameron won't even play kicker this week because it doesn't matter to him whether he wins or loses. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a big game against Buffalo. He's going to score north of 18 points. This is going to be one of those weeks where he will score at least 30 points. And I think if Josh plays Rashid Rice, he's going to get a lot of points as well, possibly even up to 20. And I just like the matchups across the board. So I think Josh is going to win this week. in a game that's not too important, Cameron will take his 4th loss of the season. Now, the final game, I'm going to take just a little, well, it won't take much time, but this will be Andrew and Clark. This is the game of the week. The winner of this game is in, the loser is out. Between these two teams, I've been vocal this year. I don't think they're great. Andrew's team has more potential. Past few weeks, it's been performing. I think Andrew's route through the playoffs, it's all going to depend on Jordan Love and Watson. Those two have been connecting. They've been playing very, very well. Um, Andrew doesn't even have Watson in. Is he quite? Watson is currently questionable. Um, and he's not set to play. Ooh. That makes this matchup more interesting because I don't like Cup this week. Man, if there's a week that Clark could pull off an upset, I think this week can do it. I think he can. Uh, I'm not a fan of Cup. Devontae Smith is going to be hit or miss this week. Devontae Smith might score you 25 points, or he might score 6. It depends. Is it going to be Brown or Devontae Smith? But I do think that Philly-Dallas game is going to be a shootout. And Clark, he just finds ways to win games. So I could still see Love having a big game. Not having that Wombo combo is going to hurt. But I'm going to stick to Andrew winning this game. He should win this game. His team is better. But Clark, I hope you win. Because if Andrew wins, that's 3 people in the playoffs that can do a league reset. So, and that's it for my match breakdowns. I want to finish with something we talked about with Drew last night on the episode that we unfortunately couldn't post. We did talk about Super Bowl predictions, and the 49ers will go to the Super Bowl because that's been kind of the talk this week. Like, will they be the ones to go through the NFC? But I asked Drew, just like I've asked everybody else that's been on the podcast for the first time, what is something that they would like to see at League Reset? And something that he brought up, and I think it's important that I bring up, Drew's pretty happy and content with how things are now. And I think that's great. I've been asking this question if there's anything that we want to change at League Reset, because that would be the time to change. That doesn't mean we have to make any changes. Doesn't mean we have to get rid of kickers, defense, make changes to points, rosters. It's just that's the time to discuss. I think the reason why this league has gone on so long and has done so well is because we have really narrowed it in to a good scoring system, and it's worked well. And it's kept the league fun, high integrity, competitive, and yeah, teams don't tend to tank. Like every week they try to fight it out. So I just want to throw in that nugget of information that yes, league reset. We're talking about it. That doesn't mean we have to change anything. There's a reason why this league has been successful these past 15, 16, 17 years. So with that, like I said, it was going to be a short episode. I hope you guys got to see a little bit of what I can do with this software. It's kind of cool whenever on the fly I could quickly change this back to my face, back to this. I could go back to my title screen if I want. There's a lot of cool things I could do, and this is just the start. I'm going to continue working on incorporating music a little bit more. I'm going to look into AI to actually generate a proper intro for this podcast. Just a lot of fun stuff. So by all means, please, if you have ideas, maybe even some I haven't thought of, share it, or it might trigger an idea in my mind. So this is a podcast for the league. I've become more and more passionate about it, and it's because of you guys. It's a lot of fun. So this week, good luck, everyone. Next episode is going to be big because we're going to be in the playoffs, and we'll go from there. So, as always, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Peace.